Campbell Ruckman is their Achilles, but but they've obviously played very well.
All right, second position on the line, and it's Kovacevic who starts in the ruck, gets the ball down. Styles overran it. Parker's in there. Managed to get the handball out to Slight. Bent down nicely, picked it up, had the run of Cheap. Gets on the right boot, goes up to half forward, and taking the mark is Burgess. So Burgess will get around on the left boot. He put it into the corridor, looking for Clark, got hands to it, couldn't complete the mark. Ball at ground level, Clark won it again, just managed to get the handball out. As he was taken down, Hayden overran it, went back with a good second effort, and in the end there's going to be a ball up. So Sunbury kicking, as advised by Bill Lucas, to the advantage end, which is the city end. Slap forward. It was taken by Lamb. Just squeezed the handball out quickly, kicks to a contest. At centre half back, Gianpaolo won the hard football. Got it back to Waite, and on the right boot goes to centre wing. Haas got hands to it, couldn't complete the mark, but the whistle's gone. It's going to go the way of Josh Styles. And he can set the Eastern Lions up, attacking side of centre wing on the southern side, whilst we await the arrival of the football selection this afternoon, Barry.
Advantage gives it to Sunbury. Michael?
Yeah, I'm going for Sunbury as well. I just think they might be a little bit too strong across the board. And Redan's depth just maybe tested a little bit. They are still fundamentally a young side with a good sprinkling of experience, but you never write the Western Lions off. So Styles cut the ball low, goes with the breeze, looking for Clark with good strong hands. Out in front of Brett. Vice-like grip on that football. 45-degree angle, if that. You'll line it up. Distance really won't be an issue anyway. It's just merely an issue of accuracy for Simon Clark. So Clark, he says, looking for him. Goals this year, comes inside 50 now. Right foot drop, punt, holds its line nicely. It threatened to draw towards the goalpost, but he's been able to hold its line. Makes no mistake, so the first goal on the board goes the way of the home side. And Sunbury, 1 goal straight. Redan yet to score 2.5 minutes into the opening term on BFL Game of the Round. Barry Ag.
We had an excellent view of that, and the ball never deviated, did it, Michael? And the wind had no effect on that at all.
Well, as I said, it threatened to sort of draw back at one stage there, I thought, but it held its line nicely.
Yeah. So it does appear as... Unless, of course, the wind was directly blowing over Clarkie's shoulder.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
No, not...
So back in the middle again, Kovacevic got it down. Barrelling around in the middle there. Peace taken down and a good strong tackle by Rossi Slight that time. But no prior opportunity. Gets back to his feet. Does Brendan Peace, one of the good guys of the competition. Kovacevic down to Haas. Just fumbled initially. And then he was taken in attack. He'll need to release that ball. The umpire lurking in the end, crosses his arms. And he'll elect to ball it up, just attacking side of the centre. Attacking side for Sunbury. Kovacevic was taken out. It was slapped forward by Cheap. And again, another stoppage forms. But Sunbury have gained maybe about 10 metres or so, still deep inside the centre square. The umpire puts the ball skywards once more. Slight was third man up, got it down. Haas put his body on the line. Trapped the football, and he seemed to be taken in the back, but not according to the umpire. Good tackle applied, and Haas didn't release that football. And Monzel will hand off to Cheap, stop prop, and then kicks into the man on the mark. Opportunity for Karras. That's Matty Karras for the Lions. Tapped it forward to Cheap, to Peace. Handball missed the target. Slight over the top to Sullivan. Goes to Medcraft. He was taken down, but still got the handball out. Hay was a bit slow getting that handball away, and it's a free kick to Redan, and with advantage it's Dickinson to the run of Hayden. Goes looking for Lyle, was taken over the shoulder. Play on's the call. Open the door for Schultz. Schultz will kick up to an open forward line. Phelps couldn't get back there before Coleman did for Sunbury. And his handball right up against the boundary line. Just a little too wide for Brett Chambers, who couldn't keep it in the field of play. And first foray inside attacking 50 for the visitors. Kicking against the breeze to the Mount Macedon end. Slung back in. Kovacevic worked his way forward. Loose ball was won by Hay. He was dispossessed. Play on's the call. Nicely picked up and spinning himself out of traffic was Phelps. He was dispossessed. Tap forward, back this time now to Phelps, on to Karras. That's Matt Karras, but right up against the boundary line, just ran out of room.
Michael, while we've got a break in play, there was the remarkable example of the difference between the umpiring standards between the Ballarat League and the Riddle League. 2 free kicks paid, one to Redan, but consistency, and that's the key word with the Riddle umpires.
55 around from the Redan goal. Carried the ruckman. Monzel did well on the cheap by hand. Now he's got Duhau. Thought about handing off, but then just brought the ball back inboard on the bounce, got it to Slight. Ran his full measure after a bounce, and he goes up to Clark on a good lead. Hands off to the run of Styles, who left the footballer behind. It was a good idea, but unfortunately the execution was poor. And it's Dundon who finds GM Paolo, defensive side of centre, swings it wide, goes laterally to Hayden for a couple of steps. He's got Bell on centre wing in front of the scoreboard, takes the mark on the chest. Opportunity wasted there for Sunbury. Looping a little pass over the top. It was a dangerous one. Read nicely by Sunbury. Here's Kovacevic. Handball over the top. Sunbury with an opportunity across half back. It's just been a little bit sloppy. Redan good and tight at the moment. Coleman, good hands off this time to Steeps. Hold the dummy once. Goes with a couple of bounces through the middle of the ground. He had to stop. Had to prop. Then he needs to release the football. Taken down in a terrific tackle. Good pressure applied by Redan, and it's Waite who can go up to half forward where he finds Ryle. Too far out to score, just a little uncertain, gets it onto Phelps. He'll just load up from outside 50, looking for Riordan, getting back. Man in front, Chambers. Should have been paid the mark. No, he wasn't. And running into the open goal is Dundon. And Redan get one against the breeze. They tie scores up. Thought Chambers had taken enough of that football there. He may have even been taken down illegally. Play on was the call. And Riordan, quick with the hands, out to the runner Dundon, who ran into the open goal and gets his first and Redan's first on the board. Scores all tied up 7.25 minutes in Barriac.
Yes, I agree with you, Michael, that although the umpire was a lot closer than what we were, but I thought Chambers should have been awarded the mark.
Well, propped himself in front, and then certainly thought he was taken down. But look, without the benefit of the replay, just to the naked eye, it looked as though Brett Chambers may have just been a touch unlucky.
But unfortunately came down to a fairly basic error by Joe Cheap in trying to do too much, I think.
Yeah, he did. Depp tried to take on far too much. Back in the middle again, Kovacevic went early. Palmed it down, but only to Bell this time, and Redan get the clearance. Up to the half forward, Riordan. One way then the other, got around on the left boot, goes in the direction of Ryle. Worked his opponent out nicely, and Parker got a very ordinary bounce. Kick off the ground, goal! Now, just trying to see if that's Jesse Dundon again. I think it is.
I thought your first call was...
No, Parker's the Sunbury player. He's not going to be kicking the goal there. No, it's Jesse Dundon. He's got 2 in a row. And Redan find themselves in front. Inside the opening 10 minutes, kicking against the breeze. They've moved along to 2 goals straight. To Sunbury 1 goal straight.
So much for Billy scoring him.
Didn't he say a 3-goal advantage to the Mount Macedon end?
Oh, maybe I wasn't listening. I thought he said to Sunbury City end. But
maybe I just made it up too. Kovacevic again went early. Won by Monson through the middle. Got on his non-preferred right. Brings it out to half forward. Duhau. In fact, it wasn't. It was Burgess led in the chase for the ball. Redan unlucky not to get a free kick, but still a handball out by Mackenzie into space. Was won by Phelps. Phelps would go in the direction. Riordan got hands to it. Couldn't quite drag it in. He was just put under a little bit of pressure, and the Chinese line down there in front of us nearly took clean possession. He got from the boundary throw in, just attacking side of centre wing. Kovacevic tried to kick it off the ground, managed to retrieve the football, got the handball out. Phelps overran it, had support that time in Schultz. Running out of space was Medcraft. Just a couple of expert backward steps that time, getting himself over the boundary line and to safety, and there'll be another stoppage as the boundary umpire comes in a metre or so from the line, and he'll bring it back in with a good high throw. Kovacevic down to Styles, who tapped it back looking for Monzel. Was he taken over the shoulder? Yes, he was. and Ryan Monsell. In fact, it's going to be a Redan free kick. It's going to go. The way of trying to see if that's good. Aubrey just awkwardly tried to drag it in with the right hand and then lost his footing as he went across the line. Well, a little bit awkward there for the multiple premiership player, Damien Horbury, a far better player than that phase of play would suggest. So for the boundary throw in, Dickinson, Dan Phelps got a very ordinary bounce. His body on the line was Mackenzie, did very well. Handball out towards Phelps, just got the toe poke in, Duhau through traffic onto short. Over the top to Slide, sold the dummy well, and he'll square it up with Sullivan takes the mark. Just forward to the centre. Sunbury will just loop a little pass into the direction of Duhau, diving down low, takes a terrific mark. Might look to load this one up. Goes in the direction of Karras, worked his way forward, couldn't complete the mark, and Redan have got numbers to mop it up. And they can clear from the last line of defence. Schultz takes the mark. Right on defensive 50, and you go in the middle of the ground where Dickinson, unopposed, takes the mark. Runs his full measure and then kicks up to half forward into the path of Dundon. Probably need to get around back on his left. It was nicely smothered by Scott Lobb. Won the football and then handball out into space. Chambers needed to bend down to pick it up. Has to go second time. Lost his footing. Presence of mind to get it back, and Sunbury can clear off half back. Linton needed to take clean possession. Winning the hard ball was Jess. He'll kick a high up and under ball, and Sunbury numbers can't get back in time. And it's Bell who takes the mark on the chest at right half forward. Redan looking the more likely at the minute. Comes inside 50, keeps the ball low. Open goal square. Can Short get back? He can't. But unfortunately, it had just gone across the face and missed. First minor score of the afternoon.
Didn't miss by much though, Michael.
Oh, looked very, very tight. And Sunbury have brought the ball up to half back. Opportunity for Hayes, swings it wide. He's got McCabe, sat and waited for it. Got a good bounce, one way then the other. You look to concede ground, and he does so and goes back to Short. Right on defensive 50. On the southern side of the ground, you'll square it to Linton, a true centre half back. He'll kick a high ball up to half forward, looking for Kovacevic on a good strong lead. Took the mark. Now he'll look to load it up. Gives it plenty. Goes well inside 50, but had too much on it for Simon Clark. And in the right forward pocket, it spills over the boundary line and out of bounds. So they needed a little bit of better execution that time.
I was just going to say the idea was excellent, but the execution was a little bit to be desired.
Just as Billy Lucas mentioned in his ground report, just starting to cloud over a little bit here. Clark Oval had brilliant sunshine right up until the opening siren. 20 around from the Sunbury goal. In the ruck contest, Redan can clear from the last line of defence. Horbury trapped the ball nicely. A true centre half back needed to get the handball out, turned it over to Stiles. He fumbled, went to ground, taken in a good tackle, eventually released to Karras. Goes on to Short off a step. He'll load it up from outside 50. Gives it plenty, but the direction was wrong, unfortunately. And again, it's gone into that right forward pocket, which would suggest that's the probably the direction in which the breeze is going, not necessarily straight down the ground.
I was going to say, would you be brave enough to call it a breeze, mate? I thought it was nearly a gale.
So we're up here. It's not windy up here. So from the boundary throw in, Sullivan was third in line. May not have given the free kick away. It was won terrifically by Simon Clark, and as he got his kick away, kicking the banana, it was touched off the boot, and a minor score. It was good effort, showing his class, Simon Clark. Kicked 5 goals against Redan back in round 2, and their victory by 15 points at City Oval that afternoon. But a minor score, an even goal the margin in favour of the visitors. Redan with the advantage. So from fullback, it's Riley. We come to the southern side. Kicks to a one-on-one contest.
Oh, well played,
Lamb did
Karras.
Terrifically well there in creating a contest, but you're right, Karras tapped it back to Short. Short concedes ground again to Coleman, and he'll also concede ground where he finds Hay. In the middle of the ground, he'll switch play. He's got a couple of Eastern Lions on there, and it's Chambers on true centre wing on the northern or scoreboard side of the ground. Takes the mark, keeps it low, where he finds McCabe. Laconically takes the mark. Again, just forward to the centre. Goes to half forward, but he was looking for Slight that time, and it was chopped off well by Gianpaolo. Read it much better, filled the hole, and took the mark. So right half back, you continue down the line, the northern side, and he finds Waite on a good strong lead. Needed to be precise with the pass, Julie was. So Waite, chip short. The lead of Peace, who in turn takes the mark on the chest, but now the flow missing from Redan's game at the moment. Will kick to a contest on centre wing, working his way forward was Ryle, couldn't complete the mark. Ball at ground level in dispute again. The umpire's going to come in and ball it up on true centre wing right in front of the scoreboard. The electronic scoreboard here at Clark Oval, controlled by Dobie of course, shows Redan a goal in front. It was Colbert who went early. Ball still in dispute once again. There'll be another stoppage. Ball hasn't really moved at all. Still in front of the scoreboard.
As you said, Michael, the flow's gone out of Redan's game, but do you think somebody is shutting them down?
They may very well be. That's your job to work that out. Matty Karras got it on to Colbert. Just missed the target with his handball. Cheap was taken down as he tried to get the handball out. Hill put his body on the line. It was won nicely by Burgess. Now they should be able to clear with a chain of handballs here, Sunbury, but they've just got no one to kick to. In the end, it was Burgess, just kicked more in hope than anything else. Waite got a very ordinary bounce. McKay bent down, picked it up. Sidestep, got around on the left boot. Will go up inside 50, had too much for Slight. They should get numbers back here, Redan, although Britt's handball was smothered. Came back to him. Then it was on to Burgess. Burgess can kick to the top of the square. And just in the last line of defence, Redan getting numbers back, and it's off hands and through for a minor score. So Sunbury back inside a goal now with their second behind. Hayden from full back. Kick down the line. He found Britt, goes back by hand to Hayden, who'll go to the northern side of the ground. Floats a ball up, looking for Matty Karras. Sunbury numbers will win out here. The tap was good on to Scott Lobb, and he spots up a teammate inside 50, and it's Burgess who takes the mark on the chest. Or is it Jack Land? I think you'll find it is in fact Jack Land who's taken the mark on the chest. And at left half forward, again, distance shouldn't be an issue with that oscillating breeze. Not quite oscillating, it's more a gale, as Barriag mentioned a little bit earlier. But Land gathers momentum as he comes inside 50 now. 45 metres out, right foot drop punt. He's just pushed it across the face. Now, Sunbury creating some opportunities in the last 5 minutes, just haven't been able to convert. A quick kick out from full back, and it's Lamb who takes the mark, still deep inside defensive 50. A little pass over the top, finds Gianpaolo, hands off quickly to the runner Peace. On his right boot, goes to the northern side. Riordan worked his opponent out nicely, lost the football. Chambers should get there first, although he overran it. Karras was good, got it back to Gianpaolo. Jess back to Gianpaolo again in the Western Lions. Well, making it look a little bit awkward. Found Haas with an awkward looking kick, but then he was tripped as he lost control of the football, and a true centre half back, Tim Haas, will take the resulting free kick and will relieve for the Western Lions. Hands off quickly to the run of Hayden. He'll swing it out wide, looking this time for his teammate
At the line.
in Gurkovic, but unfortunately the line closed in on him and found its way over. And both sides have really lost their ability to hit the targets consistently at the moment, haven't they?
Yeah, I think Redan are hitting their targets far more often than
Yeah, but as we saw with
are,
the
but, yep.
Hayden kick there, just needed to be a little bit cleaner. Haas under pressure, still in tight. Peace did really well. Got it on to Dickinson. McKenzie just had a little bit too much on it, was forced to go back and retrieve. Now he does so for a second time. Was won nicely by Slide. Opportunity for McCabe to bring it inside 50. Was trapped brilliantly by Sullivan. Gets it onto Medcraft, kicks to an open goal square, bounces it through. Well, we were talking about skill execution. Sunbury got it right in type that time. And a terrific finish by Matthew Medcraft. Gives back the home side the lead. And they move along to 2-3-15. Redan 2-1-13. The margin 2 points as we're about to hit time on in the opening term, Barriag.
Yeah, it's been a scrappy game so far, hasn't it? Even though that contradicts what I said before about Redan hitting their targets more frequently than Sunbury, but it's still been scrappy, but that's the intensity you want both sides to be playing with.
Yeah, just wonder how much that wind's having an effect out there as well. Back in the middle, it was Carrot, slapped it forward. Haas got there first for Redan, and he can get the clearance up to half forward. Chambers worked his way forward, couldn't complete the mark. Fell for Scott Lobb back to Chambers, and then Chambers got Lant on the northern wing. And on the stretch, took the mark down low. He's got a long lead from Clark, goes in that direction. Set himself, Clark couldn't complete the mark. Spilling onto it was McCabe, left the football behind. Gurkovic put his head down, he on there to release that football, eventually did. Redan numbers through Lamb, although he lost his footing. Medcraft was taken very high and an awkward tackle applied.
He's played a free kick too, Michael.
Against Dickinson, and you're right, it will go the way of Matty Medcraft. Just a little too far out to score, one would suspect.
The Gale would have to increase, double its intensity for him to score from there.
Well, I was watching him before the game, actually, and he was kicking them against the breeze from pretty much right on 50. So the man on the mark is at about 60 here. He's going to go back inboard where he finds Monzel. Getting too far to score, but nobody on the mark. Goes with a bounce, approaches 50. Loops one long, kicks it to the line. Dickinson getting back just on the stretch, got a fingernail to it. Didn't quite have the carry and another minor score, but Eamon Gill be really disappointed. Nobody on the mark that time opened the door for Monzel. And quick kick out from full back. Still deep inside defensive 50, but down the corridor. The mark was taken by Peace, a former premiership coach. Go to the southern side, setting himself in front was Coleman. He's surrounded by Western Lions that time, and he's done well to hold that in and not give the free kick away right up against the boundary line. And about 70 around from the Sunbury goal. About 5 metres in from the boundary. Dickinson went early. Karras held his footing, got it on to Haas, unfortunately for him, back to Dickinson. And then Bell goes with a high up and under to centre wing. Was Coleman, set himself, couldn't complete the mark, spilling onto it well, was short, and then off the outer portion of the boot, but he's spotted up Chambers, who probably had to concede about 5 metres in taking the mark. Spots up Paddy Karras.
He doesn't waste too many, does he, Macca?
In the midpoint of the ground, just loops a little pass towards Monzel. Tried to turn the body in order to take the mark with some oncoming traffic. Spills for Styles, handballs back with a little bit of space. Onto Karras, goes back inboard to Chambers. Missed the target but got a good bounce. Came back into his grasp and then nurses a pass over the top and finds Sullivan. True centre half forward. Hands on to Cheap, and Cheap off a step goes into the pocket looking for Clark. But again, just a little too wide. I thought he might have thumped a ball home from there. Cheap off a step.
I was just going to say, do they seem to be Clark conscious to you, Michael?
It's certainly gone to him a disproportionate number of times for his Sunbury team. They had Karras start forward. That's Paddy Karras start forward, and they've got Slight down there. So they've certainly got options. But you're right, they do seem to be going towards Simon Clark, maybe just a little too predictably. It was Clark in that ruck contest, worked his way forward, hooked it back about 10 metres or so, in doing so finding the boundary line. 30 around from the Sunbury goal, 23 and a half minutes in Barrier.
And having said that, but we do know that Clarkey can be a match winner when he's on.
So Clark worked his way forward from the boundary throw-in. Ball at ground level again. Hard ball won by Giampaolo. Tried to get his handball out, and it just ricocheted back under him, and he was surrounded by Sunbury opponents. The umpire puts the ball in the air again. High ball. It's missed by Phelps. Riley overran it. Gurkovic is in there. Got it onto Britt by hand, but then it fell for Cheap on the left boot. Off a step, he sends it goalwards, and he's missed to the far side. The last 10 minutes have belonged to the home side. They just haven't necessarily...
Haven't taken full advantage of it, have they?
That's probably a good way of putting it. They move along to 2-5, but a mistake inside defensive 50 by Redan nearly gifted Sunbury a goals. Redan bring it out to the southern side. Haas held his ground nicely. Down to Damien Horbury, back to Haas. Now he's got Riley, handball over the top to Dickinson. Dickinson will go by hand to Phelps, will go wider still to the runner piece. Needed to arch the back, just got the kick away. Into the path of Matty Karras, can't get there first. Parker absorbed the bump, runs his full measure and then on the left boot. Tries to spot up Scott Lobb, had a bit too much on it. Contest in the middle of the ground. Linton has taken Giampaolo out front on. That might be looked at a little bit later, but play on's the call. Sunbury bring the ball onto centre wing. Lamb couldn't complete the mark. It was kicked off the ground by McCabe, but it's chopped off and Redan through the middle of the ground. Through Schultz, can go up to centre half forward, but there's nobody home. And taking the mark uncontested was Short. Into the path, his kick went of Hay. Onto Kovacevic by hand, back to Hay. Looked to come back inboard off a step. Then he'll put a high ball up, but had too much on it for Land and getting back. It's Hayden who takes the relieving mark at left half back. Chip wide finds Dickinson. Still defensive in the defensive half for Redan. He'll just kick down the line looking for weight. Needed to be precise, and he was. Took the mark in front of Kovacevic. He'll just nurse a pass over the top. And right up against the boundary line, Bell takes the mark. On true centre wing, and Social Club or southern side of the ground. Just haven't got that run and flow that they had a little bit earlier, Redan. Kick into the middle of the ground. I think his run was impeded, Riordan, that time, but not a realistic chance of taking the mark as it was chopped off by Sullivan. Kick to centre wing. Short got very high. It's almost a contradiction in terms in itself. Bell won the football, back to Hayden, right up against the boundary line. Did he keep it in? No, he didn't. Stepped it over the line. The boundary umpire probably little over 10 metres away from that particular contest, but had a good angle on it. And we'll throw it back into play, which allows Sunbury to set up once again. 26 and 3/4 minutes in. Kovacevic got a fingernail to it, was won by Waite in the first place. Ball at ground level again in dispute, and the umpire's going to come in and ball it up. 2-5 plays 2-1 rather. The margin 4 points in favour of the home side. Duhau tried to force it forward by Boot. So too did Phelps for Redan. McCabe did well, won the hard ball, got it onto Styles. Falls for Cheap, had his kick smothered, ricocheted off hands and over the boundary line, and looks like Matty Karras there. Not overly impressed by something said by Jay Cheap. A little word or two to say. So again from the boundary throw in. Good looping throw. Ryle was third man up. Cheap, ground level, couldn't take clean possession. He was set upon by Dundon, won the football, got it out, but only as far as Coleman. He can bring the lines, that's the eastern lines up to half forward. Medcraft got a good bounce. Went by hand this time to a teammate. Just trying to see who that was forced to get the handball out. Retreating back was Chambers. Went to ground, needed to tap it forward, looking for Linton. He took one, a good hard bump by Jack Jess that time. He'll get back to his feet because the ball's in dispute once more. Parker put his body on the line, so did Riley. Jess missed the target with his handball, opened the door for Medcraft to go up inside 50. Slight set himself, couldn't complete the mark. Ball at ground level again. Was won by Short, brings the ball across his body at the top of the goal square, but he just looped the kick instead of hooking it back goalwards, and it's floated through for a minor score. So 2-6, plays 2-1, approaching quarter time, 28 and a half minutes in. Hayden trusted to bring the ball back in again, does so. Coming to the southern side, and kicked to half back. Kovacevic worked his way forward. Off hands, it was won by Dundon. Kicked out into space. Monsell should get there first, although left it behind. Opened the door for Schultz. He was taken front on and a good tackle. No, it wasn't. Taken just a little bit high by McCabe. As Schultz goes to ground once again, looking for 50 metres. Won't be coming his way, but Schultz goes laterally, where Damien Horbury, just forward of left half back, takes the mark.
9, 8, 7.
The countdown approaching quarter time. The siren will sound before either side will be able to score again.
2, 1.
is the quarter-time siren, and a very interesting opening term it was too. Inside 30 minutes, it is Sunbury who take a 5-point lead into the opening break, although they were kicking to supposedly the advantage end, which of course is the Eastern.
He wants no bombing into the forward line. He wants and if it goes over your head, get behind and go back and follow the ball in.
All right, thank you very much, Bill Lucas. I think he was referring to Redan, and the aforementioned Redan will get the opening clearance. Kick it out into open space. Ball sat nicely for Horbury. Handball back inboard to the run of Bell. Looked to load it up from outside 50, but off the side of the boot he sprayed it out of bounds on the full in the right forward pocket.
Goodwin seemed to take it that right forward pocket again, didn't
I
it?
think it was more the angle that came off the boot, to be perfectly honest. So it's risk. Back pocket, he'll switch play where he finds Monzel. Still deep inside defensive 50, got around on the left boot in the direction of Linton rather. Stopped and propped. Still managed to get the kick away, looking for Sullivan right up against the boundary line. And closing in, it was Matt Miller that time. Stepped over the boundary line and put it out of bounds. And there'll be another boundary throw in. Redan kicking to the eastern or right of your radio. The 8 of the breeze to the city end. It's the boundary umpire. Slings it back in. Dickinson got it down nicely to Bell. Swung around on the right boot. Put a high ball up to half forward. And judging it well was Horbury. Took the mark. 60 out. Keeps the ball low and he's hooked it beautifully in the path of a teammate at right half forward. And it's Tim Haas who's had some sort of contribution so far. He'll play on quickly, then kicks into the man on the mark. It's Joel Risk there, needed to control the football, although Phelps got there first for Redan. Went by hand back to Lamb, and Lamb will bring it across his body beautifully. And he found Riordan on the chest at right half forward. Now Riordan can look to line it up here. Might just need to start this one to the left of the left-hand goal post and then just fade it back. About 5 metres in from the boundary. Plenty of goal face in which to work with. Brenton Riordan will kick from right on 50 now. He has done that as he just guided it through. He has with a wonderful kick. So started it to the left. It faded back nicely. So Brenton Riordan gives Redan back the lead with the opening goal of the second term. They move along to 3-1-19. Sunbury touching a point. 2.5 minutes into the second term. Barrier
Showed it how easy it is to kick goals at that end, Michael. Never looked like this.
Good setup too.
Yep.
Also
Good
by
play.
Redan. Yep, terrific team play. And Brenton Riordan, his 29th goal of the season. So waiting the arrival of the football back in the middle.
Somebody's have to gone down to the creek to get it again.
Down the creek without a paddle.
Exactly.
Although I think they must have had the paddle because they've retrieved the football. So just a minute or two to get the ball back into the centre of Clark Oval again. But really important that Redan try and break the game open in their second term with the aid of the breeze, because I don't think Sunbury really took full advantage of it.
Most definitely didn't take full advantage of it, Michael. A little bit.
Redan out by 2 points now, but they're doing all of the attacking. A few defensive mistakes being made by the home side. That'll be interesting to see whether Redan really are able to convert their opportunities in the way that Sunbury couldn't in that opening term. 2-6 plays 3-2. Scott Lobb from full-back comes to the southern side. Is looking for Coleman. Worked his way forward,
good
judged it brilliantly and took a terrific contested mark. He'll kick in the direction of Carra, set himself. Had too much height for Bell. Goes back inboard to Slight. Just got pushed off the kick. Still got it away. It was won by Medcraft. Looped the handball over the top. Nicely taken on the half volley by Slight. Goes with a barrel. Up to centre half forward. Clark got a very ordinary bounce and it was won by Schultz. Streams out a defensive 50. Onto weight by hand. And he'll spot up Phelps. Couldn't complete the mark. Track back. Controlled the football onto Peace. Back to Schultz now onto Phelps again. He'll just loop a little pass into the path of his teammate on a good strong lead, and it's Dundon once again who's taken the mark. And Jesse Dundon kicked their only 2 goals of the opening term. Both of them against the Breeze, can look to line up for his 3rd of the afternoon.
Going back looking very confident too, isn't he, Michael?
Well, distance again shouldn't be an issue, kicking with the 8 of the Breeze. Billy Lucas felt it was a 2 to 3 goal advantage. So Dundon gathers momentum as he approaches 50 now. Right on 50, it was off the side of the boot. It will have the distance, it will have the carry, it just won't have the accuracy as he misses to the near side.
Bit disappointing with their setup in their play to get it down to the forward line. And we did have a bit of a count there. There were 7 Redan players in the centre, all unattended.
Yes, and look in the pass inside or 2 attacking 50, which is where Dundon took the mark on the chest, was terrific. He just couldn't put the icing on the cake, unfortunately. As Scott Lobb, little chip pass to Risk Road, and a dangerous kick, looking to go back across goal again, finding Scott Lobb, missed the target, did find the chest of Mitchell Phelps, and from 15 metres out on about a 60-degree angle, but a good side for a left footer. Really shouldn't make any mistake and should rub this in with Redan's 4th goal of the afternoon. So Phelps, leading goal kicker this year, makes absolutely no mistake, drills it home. So Redan makes Sunbury pay for that defensive mistake. And they skip out to a 9-point lead, 4-3-27. Sunbury 2 goals, 6-18. The margin 9 points on the BFL game of the round scoreboard, Barry.
I thought you were being very, very gracious when you said it was a dangerous kick. I thought it was a suicidal kick, and it's turned out to be that way. But you don't get too many easier goals given to you than that.
So Mitchell Phelps, his 1st of the afternoon, 32nd goal of the season. Only 2 games this year where he has gone goalless. Karras in the middle, he'll go up against Dickinson. And Sunbury needs something. Redan, as they did in the opening term, really started the better. But of course, kicking now to the eastern or city end of the ground, they are favoured by the Breeze. Although unfortunately, the closer to goal you are, the further you tend to kick it, the longer it seems to take to get the ball back. And can it just break a little bit of momentum?
It does, and this is one of the only criticism of, a slight criticism of the league and probably the Sunbury football side. They should have somebody down that end, shouldn't they, to retrieve the balls. The players shouldn't have to.
Well, you just wonder whether a net should be.
Yeah, but the players shouldn't have to jump the boundary line to chase a ball, should they?
No, they shouldn't. So back in the middle again. Dickinson got it down. Peace lurked dangerously, but it was won by Slight. Gets the clearance up to left half forward. Trapping it well was Burgess, one way then the other. Needs to get around on the left boot, which he does. Puts it in the direction of Sullivan. Got hands to it, but then had the arms chopped against Gurkovic. And Sullivan was looking to step off his line, slipped, got back to his feet. He put it to the hot spot, looking for Clark, working his way forward. Wait. Came across from the side. Didn't hear the whistle that time because he seemed to take a clear mark.
Yeah.
And eventually it was paid.
And Clarkie looked as though he's all ready to play on.
So Wait. Swing it out wide. Schultz trapped it nicely on the half volley. Tried to straddle the boundary line. Burgess got there first. Good tackle applied by Peace. Duhow at ground level. Was he taken in the back or more in the side? He's surrounded by a couple of Western lines there, including Brendan Peace, who helps him back to his feet. Little tap on the backside to go with it. It's the umpire. Puts the ball skywards again. It was won by Sullivan. Into the path of Hill. And Hill, a terrific pass. Looked horrible off the boot, but it was purely deliberate. Just slewed off the side of the boot into the path of Ross Slide. And he was able to run into the hole, take the mark out in front, and he can line it up directly in front. Terrific execution, wonderful skill displayed by Tim Hill. Opportunity for Ross Slide, and his kick missing to the near side. Yes, Bill Lucas?
Ballarat 1-2, North Ballarat City 2-3, Lake Wendouree 3-3, Sebastopol 3-4, Melton 2-5, Darley 3-4.
All right, many thanks to Bill Lucas with scores around the ground. Redan have been able to bring the ball up to centre wing on the outer side of the ground. Matty Karras got his left foot kick into space. It was won by Peace. Ducked out of the tackle nicely, got it onto Riordan, brings it up to half forward. Bell used the body nicely. Did he or did he not? No, in fact, he stepped over the boundary line as the Sun makes a reappearance. Just seemed to offload Chambers a little too easily that time, but right up against the boundary line may have given some indication towards Chambers' enthusiasm for that football that time. So slung back in again. Dickinson caught behind, but still got it down. Cheap won the hard football, then looped the pass towards Linton, right up against the boundary line. Can't keep it in as the boundary line closed in on him. A 70 around from the Redan goal. They lead by 8 points. 4-3 plays 2-7. 11 and a quarter minutes into this second term. From the throw in again, Kovacevic got it down. It was sharked nicely by Phelps. He was dispossessed. Unlucky not to get a free kick that time, Sunbury, I thought. Legal disposal. Ryle put his head down. He was taken front on. Legal tackle according to the umpire. And on the attacking point of the square, attacking side for Sunbury, the umpire will elect to ball it up once again.
Redan are playing tough, gritty football, aren't they, Michael?
They certainly are. Uncompromising. In fact, both sides are. There's plenty on the line. Slight got the handball out. He was looking for Short, who left it behind. Jess just threw the ball on the boot. Kicks out into open space at left half forward. Kick had a little too much on it before anyone could get there. It's bounced over the boundary line and out of bounds again. 75 around from the Redan goal. Conditions cool. Sun's gone back behind the clouds, but good dry conditions nonetheless. So Kovacevic worked his way behind, got it down. Sunbury can bring it up to centre wing. It was won by Medcraft. Kick was smothered. Bouncing off it was Ryle that time. Loose ball across half-back, won by Scott Lobb for Sunbury. Just again, tried to do a little bit too much, was fortuitous in getting the handball out to Duhow. Conceded ground by hand to Chambers, and Chambers will clear defensive 50. Loose ball opportunity again for Sunbury. Karras, that's Matt Karras, brings it across his body in good vision. Finds Dickinson, a true centre half forward. He'll go into the pocket in the direction of Bell. Just a little too much space afforded by Greg Hay that time, and a terrific kick to the left of Grant Bell was able to take the mark in the hands, and on a 45-degree angle. About 35, maybe even 40 out by the time he gets his kick away. An opportunity for a 14-point Redan lead. So Bell starts that one left and holds its line beautifully. Just aimed it towards the left-hand goalpost and made absolutely no mistake. So Grant Bell gets his first, yes, woof woof, as we've done before. Gives Redan a 14-point lead with his first goal of the afternoon, 5-3-33. Sunbury 2-7-19 on the BFL game of the round scoreboard. Just some worrying signs for the Eastern Lions.
There are, well, once again, the number of Redan players that are out by themselves, running uncontested, would not make Rick Orwood very happy, I wouldn't imagine.
So Grant Bell, his first goal since round 14. There's 22 goals for the season. Went back-to-back with 5 goals in round 6 and also back in round 5 as well. Which would make it back-to-back, I guess, wouldn't it?
Pretty
so
close
back
to it.
Yes, very good. Kovacevic got up early. Colbert couldn't take it with him. In the end, Kovacevic got the clearance up to half forward. Under pressure was McCabe. Went back by hand to Styles. Needed to bend down and pick it up. Missed his target with the handball. Jeep was taken down when he didn't have the football and won the hard ball the second effort. Got it out to Duhow. He'll kick in the space, looking for Sully. In fact, he was looking for Burgess that time. Got caught behind. Lamb got there first, but it was won by McCabe. And across his body. Then in the direction of Slight, went down low, took the mark, squares it up where he's got Monsell, look to load it up from outside 50, goes looking for Clark, sets himself. Was he taken down with the hands? No, not according to the umpire. Play on's the call. And mopping it up was Riley, although his handball was smothered, got it onto Clark. Tried to go with the banana kick, went across the face of goal. The ball's still in the field of play eventually. It finds its way over and out. Wasted opportunity there by Simon Clark, although he would have been kicking into the teeth of the breeze that time.
As you said, Mike, I thought he had his arms chopped, but
Colbert got it down. It was won by Riley. Quick hands onto Waite, and Waite can clear defensive 50. Looking for Dickinson, worked his way forward. In fact, it's Gurkovic. No, in fact, it's Dundon. Let's try a third time. And Jesse Dundon between wing and right half back. Kick down the line, working his way forward. Riordan couldn't complete the mark. Man at ground level. Winning it was Duhow, got it back to Chambers. His kick across his body went to Phelps. Tried to tap it forward rather than take clean possession. Eventually won the football. Chambers provided a good contest. Dundon's there, had a little bit of space to move, but then turned it over with his kick. Short. Thought about kicking first and then got it by hand onto Cheap. Gurkovic cut across, couldn't take clean possession. Ball at ground level, the umpire's lurking. He's going to cross his arms and between wing and half forward. On the eastern side of the ground, attacking side for Sunbury. The umpire puts the ball skyward again. Gurkovic was in there, but so too Kovacevic. The itches were certainly there. Going to ground was Monsell. Ball ricocheted towards Colbert. He was taken in a standing tackle. No prior opportunity. And 70 around from the Sunbury goal. And goalless in their second term. The umpire puts the ball up again. Kovacevic got it down, spilling onto it nicely was Cheap. Stopped and propped on the left boot, just put a high ball up.
Oh!
Slight seemed to impede his opponent in Hayden that time, won the football right up against the boundary line. Concedes ground, puts a high ball up, good contest provided by Sullivan. Just slipping out of his grasp was Duhow that time. Sullivan went back with a good second and third effort. Gianpaolo at ground level managed to win the football onto Lamb. Now he's got the run of Britt, and Britt can kick the ball in the middle of the ground. Had too much bounce and carry on it for Riordan. Spilling back was Chambers. Brought the ball across his body. Clark trapped it nicely. Now he's got a little bit of room to move. Goes with a couple of bounces as he approaches the northern wing.
Nice
Handball over the top, and Sunbury can look to set this up again. And a squaring pass finds the chest of McCabe.
that's probably been the best passage of plays that Sunbury have had all day,
And
mate.
McCabe will drill it low, where he finds Sullivan. Sullivan off a step will go in the direction of Burgess, worked his way forward. Had to tap it forward. Well, had to tap it defensively, but tap it forward to give his forwards any opportunity. I might just leave it at that as the ball sent its way over the boundary line. 17 now, 18 minutes in to this second term. 14 points the margin in favour of the visitors. Slung back into play. Sullivan worked his way forward. Hayden was beaten for it. Cheap's in there. He too was dispossessed. Eventually the ball emerges. Trying to spin himself out of traffic was Peace. He was dispossessed. Duhow taken in a standing tackle, and a good tackle applied by Hayden Riley, the junior. And forces another ball up. Just inside attacking 50. Colbert got it down nicely, used his body, missed the target with his tap down. And it's going to be a Sunbury free kick. And a 50 as well. So an almost certain goal against Tom Lamb. And Ryan Monsell not particularly impressed by the actions of Tom Lamb that time. And I know it's getting a little bit chilly, but we don't need too many spot fires out here. It's been a good quality
Exactly.
and hard contest. And Duhow will take the resulting free kick from the top of the square. So we'll get the margin back inside double figures. He duly produces, and Sunbury on the scoreboard with their first goal of the second term, 3-7-25. Redan 5-3-33, the margin, 8 points on the BFL. Game of the round scoreboard, Barry.
Not overly impressed with Duhow then. There was a bit of, as you said, a spot fire going. He was walking up, got a 50-metre penalty. He wanted to walk back and get involved in this fracas. He should have been straight up there and kicked the goal.
Yep. Well, fact of the matter was he didn't join the fracas, and just thought about it a second or a third time before he had his dead shot from the top of the goal square. But an important goal to Sunbury. They're back within 8 points. But importantly, a goal against the Breeze.
The Breeze, yeah, but then again, Redan kicked 2 in the first quarter against the Breeze. Right, so they're still playing catch-up, aren't they?
Yeah, they certainly are. They trail by 8 points, but Karras in the middle arced it down. It was left by Bell, won by Medcraft for Sunbury. And get the clear cut to half forward. He read it brilliantly, did Jack Sullivan. Diving to his left, took the mark at true centre half forward. He'll go in the direction of Duhow, who also read the ball much better. Should get a 50-metre penalty against Ryan Waite. No, he doesn't, for a little bit of attention after he had taken the mark. But he read the flight of that beautifully, did Andrew Duhow.
Yeah, and as you said, the 50 was there. Or could
Yes,
have,
I thought he was unjustly dealt with after it, and not a lot in it, to be perfectly
not a lot,
honest.
but it was there by the letter of the law, but the umpire didn't pay it, so
Duhow from 30 out, puts a high ball up, it's going to float across the face. Really didn't kick through that one at all, and he's put it out of bounds on the full in the left forward pocket.
The effort of Sullivan in his mark and the effort in Duhow's in his mark deserved better than the end result.
So Lamb straightened it up where he found Riley, and Riley will switch play across the defensive goal square where he found Hyde and looped a long handball across to the run of Waite, took a bounce, and he'll kick up to centre wing. Ryle worked his way forward, couldn't complete the mark. Mackenzie's in there, beaten to it by Monzel, and Monzel does well, and he squares it up. Just defensive side of centre where he found Clark, who's moved into the middle. His kick's a beauty and finds on the stretch Rossi's slide. Maybe momentum was taken into account that time, because he did appear to step off his line. Off a step from the centre, kicks to a 2-on-1 situation. Burgess couldn't complete the mark. Roving it brilliantly was Medcraft. Gets the handball onto Linton. Shrugged one tackle, but then turned the handball over to Waite. Just threw the ball on the boot, goes to centre wing. Phelps waited for it to bounce. Not sure that he could have got to it on the full. Tapped it forward to his advantage, but Burgess, in fact it was Stiles, was in there for Sunbury. Did well. Tapped it to the advantage of Hay with quick hands onto Clark. He's got Hill, the middle of the ground, onto Monzel. Back to the run of Clark. Looked to come back inboard. Shrugged the tackle brilliantly on the Karras. He too shrugged a tackle. Came back inboard to Hill. Looked to handball over the top to McCabe. McCabe just squeezed a little kick out to Medcraft. Took the mark here. Looked to load it up from outside 50. Kicks it and kicks it. Goal! Redan not getting numbers back. Miller just a little bit slow and being awake to that. And Matty Medcraft kept the ball low, bounced it on the line and threw for a goal. So Sunbury with the last 2 get the margin back to 2 points. 4-7-31, Redan 5-3, 33-22 and a half minutes into this second term, Barry Ag.
Yeah, I thought Matty Medcraft should have had another goal, but I think it was Linton should have given him a handball back as he ran past him just prior to that passage of play. But there's been a lot of un-Sunbury-like play from
So back in the middle
the
again.
Sunbury side.
It was Karras, but it was won by Dickinson. Hands on the Bell, he's got the run of Horbury. He looked to load it up from 60. Long kick
That's
to
on
the
the
teeth.
way.
The goal bounces and bounces through. Doesn't know. Oh, it took a wicked off spinner. It's almost gone at right angles. There was nobody back on the line. They were all tracking back. Had plenty of distance, but unfortunately got a horrid bounce. And he's missed to the right-hand side as somebody bring the ball back in quickly.
I couldn't believe it. I was ready to write it down and took my eyes off the ball.
And on the northern side of the ground, look for Hill. Overran the football. Ball in dispute once again. Hill did well. Trapped the ball back in, but Redan will win it this time through Bell. And Bell tries to chisel a pass in the direction of Phelps, but it was chopped off by Coleman. And he can relieve for Sunbury. Puts a high ball up, holding itself up in the breeze. Terrific mark taken behind by Burgess. Did he get first hands on it? He did, and paid the mark at half back. He'll go to centre wing, or just defensive side of it, where Slight takes the mark. He spots up a teammate that time. Didn't hit the target, and looking for Lant and right up against the boundary line. Just attacking side of the scoreboard on the northern wing. Attacking side for Redan. And 24 and a quarter minutes in, boundary umpire will sling it back into play. She does now. Karras up against Dickinson. It was won by Karras. Won by Burgess. Backed himself into traffic that time and done for illegal disposal. No, it was definitely there. And Waite took the free kick, got it on to Matt Karras, goes to a contested half forward, was won nicely by Hill. Look away handball may not have been the smart way to go. Falls this time for Phelps. He'll run it along the carpet, open goal square. In fact, nobody within 30 metres of the goal line. Now, free kick, in fact, it was a Sunbury free kick in the first place to Adam Short. So it wouldn't have counted regardless. So Short, brilliant sunshine, going the direction of Clark, worked his way forward, good strong hands, had too much height for Waite that time. And defensive side of centre wing on the Social Club side takes the mark. So Clark then puts a high ball up. Karras set himself and it was taken down before he'd even taken the mark. No, it was in the act of taking the mark. It would have been a free kick regardless, but it certainly wasn't 50. And Karras on the southern wing, then kicks into the man on the mark, fell for Hayden, who was that man on the mark. Arcs the ball across his body, Short didn't try to look to take the mark, but then he recovered the better. Need to loop the handball out in the space, was looking for Clark, did well, trapped the ball, tried to spin himself out of traffic, emerged, Short did well, in tight, got it on to Hay missed with the handball, was won by Dundon, got it on to Phelps this time, he'll snap a goal once he makes no mistake this time. So Sunbury just failing to clear across half back, and good opportunist effort by Mitchell Phelps, and he gets his second of the afternoon. And importantly for Redan, they snap back-to-back Sunbury goals with their third, in fact fourth, of their second term. They're back out by 9 points. 6-4-40. Sunbury 4 goals, 7:31, 26 and a half minutes in Barrier.
Yeah, I'm still getting over that. I still maintain it should have been a 50-metre free kick to Matty Karras, because he still put down to the ground after he took the mark, even though the tackle was before he took started before he took the mark, but he was still put down after he'd taken the mark.
It was in the act.
Anyway,
I've got no issue with that. It wasn't a 50-metre penalty, but of more concern I think for Rick Horwood there is not for the first time this afternoon. They've coughed the ball up across half back, and a terrific opportunist effort. Look, it was through a couple of tight little handballs, eventually landed with Mitch Phelps. And look, there's few players in the competition who know where the goals are in the way that Phelps does. Probably his counterpart this afternoon, Matty Medcraft, along the same lines. But they're terrific goal sneaks. Yes, go for it, Bill.
Bacchus Marsh is doing very well against Melton South at 59-31.
And that'll be approaching.
It's 21 minutes into the
21 minutes into the second term. I've actually gone for the Panthers this afternoon, but wouldn't surprise me if the Cobras got up there. Well, we saw them a fortnight ago. They were outclassed, clearly, that particular afternoon, but some numbers back as well for the Cobras. But of more interest, well, that's what's going on here at Clark Oval, and an important goal for Redan.
Exactly, and as you said, we saw them a couple of weeks ago, and it was an entirely different Sunbury side.
Yeah, different opposition though, to be perfectly honest.
Yes, but
different intensity as we're back in the middle again. Kovacevic brilliantly down to Monsell, but then he was taken in a tackle immediately, and he's been pinged.
That's
well, I'm not
stupid.
sure that
That is stupid.
not sure that he had any opportunity whatsoever. But Matt Karras will take the resulting free kick. You put a high ball up to half forward, kick to a contest. Spills towards Bell, shrugged one tackle. Thought about getting onto his left, then got around on his right, and he'll kick to the top of the goal square, getting back Horbury, running with the flight of the ball, couldn't hold on to the mark, unfortunately. It spilled from his grasp, and in the end, it's going to be a ball up pretty much at the top of the Redan goal square. He would have been lining up directly in front, 15 out. The ruck contest again, in tight. Somebody will try and concede here, one would imagine, although Clark at the top of the goal square will release it. Ryle tried to kick it off the ground. In the end, Chambers was there, got it on to Kovacevic in the back pocket. They dodged the bullet that time.
Battled
Did
it
Sunbury?
around. Yeah, but as you said, Michael, that was the logical thing to do, wasn't it? Concede a point.
Well, we're not that elevated here. I'm not quite sure how far the ball was out. Schultz had his kick smothered as he tried to arc the ball goalwards. Clark was in there hard. Got it on by hand to Scott Lobb, got himself out of traffic nicely, and then arcs the ball across his body.
Wynn took it over the line.
And curled it a little too far, put it out of bounds on the full. And Hayden will square it up where he's got Waite. Waite will play on quickly, puts it to the top of the goal square, carried the pack. Won by Bell, got it onto Horbury, a look to swing the ball back goalwards. Unfortunately for him, just couldn't get enough purchase on the kick, and he's missed it to the left-hand side.
149.
So 10 points the margin, deep into this second term, approaching 30 minutes. 6-5 plays 4 goals, 7. Both sides will enjoy the break at half-time. Not a lot between it. Both sides have had their moments. Scott Lobb down low. Gets it onto McCabe. Wasn't paid the mark, but had plenty of time to recover. And his kick's good in finding Parker. Still inside defensive 50. Hands off to McCabe again. Keeps it low, but finds Clark. Spilt the mark, but still recovered. Got it onto the run of Duhow. His kick ran along the carpet. It was an ordinary one too. Favoured Riordan, managed to get the handball out, and then he was taken when he didn't have the football. No, it's going to go the way of Chambers. Chambers with a penetrative kick up to half forward into the path of Land. Trapped it nicely. He looked to go in the direction of Slight. Got hands to it, couldn't complete the mark. Needs to recover the better. Tapped it back, but it was chopped off by Britt. Goes back with a good second effort. So too in there is just trying to see who that player is right up against the boundary line. I think it's Matt Miller. It is. He was quite happy to see the ball over the boundary line and out of bounds. Deep inside attacking 50 for Sunbury though. They'd love a goal before half time. Slung back in. Dickinson and Karras in a tussle. Loose ball right up against the boundary line. Riley should get there first for Redan. Does so. Gets it on to Lamb. Had his kick smothered by Andrew Duhow, and it's spilt over the boundary line once again and out of bounds. So with just seconds remaining in this second term, deep inside attacking 50 for Sunbury, and the home side will be looking to just add one more goal and get that margin.
Free kick paid to Redan.
Now it has been a free kick. I was looking at the football, didn't quite see the free kick, and it goes to Dickinson. He'll just go to the top of the goal square where Waite takes the mark, and they're able to switch play to the southern side of the ground where Hayden takes the mark. He'll just nurse a pass over the top, need to be precise, and it was. Found piece. Handed off to Miller off a step. He'll kick out into open space. Bounce favoured Ryle. He's got the run of Jess back in board, accepts the handball, gets on the right boot. He'll kick long. Looking to kick to a contest. Parker got back. Getting back there first though is Bell. Will trap the football and then he'll swing it goalwards from the right forward pocket. Makes no mistake. So where Sunbury had the ball deep inside their attacking 50 within about 20 seconds, Redan are able to transfer the football to their attacking 50, and through Grant Bell they get that all-important goal just before half-time. And they're out by 16 points. 7-5-47, Sunbury 4-7-31. 32 and a half minutes in this second term, Barry Ag.
Very opportunistic, with about 15 seconds left on the clock, Michael.
So Grant Bell, his second goal of the afternoon, and importantly, his 23rd goal of the season. And just a nice little buffer for Redan heading into the long break. Don't have much time either side to get a score. Need to get it out of the centre straight away. Let's do Howe by hand. Got it onto Hill. And there will be no further score added unless there's a free kick and a 50-metre penalty, as the half-time siren is imminent.
1 second.
1 second. I was waiting for that 1 second for about 10. And there'll be a ball up right on the half-time siren. There it is. Didn't get it the first time, got it the second time, and you got to love that. 33 and a half minutes of that second term. And it's Redan, well,